Hello, fellow builders, and welcome. Wow, that one. Wow. Hello, fellow builders, and welcome back to the bench. I'm the mediocre modeler. Who are you? We're on part 4 of the Warehouse13 Tesla Gun build and giveaway, where we are taking our Warehouse13 resin kit that we have, that we got at Wonderfest. Voila. And we are replacing some of the components with metal, and just we're upgrading it a little bit. And once we're done, we're going to take that kit and give it to one of you guys. And I would not be speaking out of turn to say this has been a challenge. This has been a challenge, just every step of the way. It's a good challenge. I'm not complaining. It's just, if it's felt like there's been a little bit of wide space in between the videos, that's why, because every step of the way has been really taxing my brain. I'm working for it. Trust me. I am working for it, and this thing, when I'm done with it, I think it'll be amazing. I'm really happy with what I've accomplished so far. And so the two things that we were doing that really, okay, the main problem has been there aren't a whole lot of pictures from the show. A lot of prop pictures from the show. I don't know why that is. It's not like the internet wasn't around. People weren't building props. So the one problem I had was the brass piece on the side that goes here. And I got it all done, put a lot of work into it. And then I was watching Warehouse13 and ran across some really good photos. Okay. Let's see. There's one, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting to see more of the Tesla from different angles. I can see the charging node that it's sitting on. Not in this picture, but in another picture I have. You can see how I got my diameter wrong. Let's see. And so what it does is it proves that doing your research, even if it means watching the show, is paramount to you getting things right. That being said, I want to rebuild this piece, and I want to do it better. And to do it better, I almost need to be able to machine the piece. And I don't have a mill, but I did find the chuck. And it was fairly cheap. I wasn't expecting it till next Tuesday, but hey, lo and behold, it showed up a couple of days early. So I'll be able to chuck this. I'm able to grab the whole piece. I won't have to turn it down like I did last time. I'll be able to chuck that into the drill press. And my biggest concern was getting the angle right at the top of this, and then getting my hole drilled like in the center. And I think I'll be a lot happier with that piece once I do that. So that's one part. The part that's really been vexing me is the grip. I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. Materials are hard to come by, and I was looking for a piece of solid rubber that I could use, and the closest thing that I could find that was kind of reasonable was, because I always like to try and get it locally, but I couldn't find anything locally. And the closest thing I could think of, or like found on the internet, was like a jeweler's block. And I'm like, but you know me, I'm a fan of use what you got or can get a hold of. So My next idea was to use, don't laugh, flex paste. Because there was a scene in the commercial where he made a block with the flex paste. And so guess what I did? I made a block with the flex paste. Here's the thing. This is probably, it's like 4 by 6. Yeah, roughly 4 by 6 by 1. Yeah, 4 by 6 by 1. And it has been in here for a week and a half. And it's still spongy. You know? So it makes me think, dude, how long did you have to make that boat off to the side before you could float in it? You know, so I mean, I might still be able to use this for something in the future, but for this particular project, it wasn't going to work. It's not going to work, at least not right now, not in a timely manner. And then even on top of that, once it got solidified, I was concerned with being able to shape it, and I felt like it might still remain tacky. So I needed some hard rubber. And when I was at the store, I remember going to Harbor Freight, and they had mallets, rubber mallets on sale. And they were only like, the little one was like $2.99, the big one was like $5.99. So I got a mallet. That is plenty of hard rubber that I could use. Just cut it down. And I really appreciate builders that can see stuff out in the wild, or decide that I'm going to go and take that thing and I'm going to cut up and make something else out of it. And I totally want to be that guy. Unfortunately, I can't be that guy. So, instead of cutting up something new, I'm going to cut up something old. I've had this for years, and she served me well. But she's got nicks in her, and I need a bigger one anyway, so this one goes to the toolbox. It's the new one, and I can cut this one up and not feel guilty about it. So, the first problem is how I was trying to figure out how to maximize the amount of rubber that I had here and how I'm going to get on there. So I was just going to cut it on this seam and then cut a slit in it, stick it like that. Well, it doesn't come far enough up on the handle for that. And I'm just thinking all these, how am I going to do it? And so what I've decided to do is cut it on either side of the handle, and that way I will have this whole length. And once I have that, I'll be able to place it where I want it, and I'll have two halves, and I'll be able to sandwich it like that, and then I can work it. The other thing that got me on that was, and that's why I'm really glad I found the picture, is on some of the other people's builds, there was no bottom plate, and I didn't know which one was right. And luckily I found that picture, and there is a bottom plate. So I got to figure out, I got to go grab through some of my scrap from when I cut this, make myself a bottom plate, and that way I think I'll be able to cut this, put the bottom plate on, line everything up, and use the bottom plate as a measurement of where I am in rounding that off. A whole lot of words there. I don't know if I can do it, but we're going to find out. We're going to find out. So the first thing we're going to do is get that cut off of there. Yeah. Here we go. So my first idea was to, from the back side of the saw, use the handle as a guide and just run the blade along that and just pull it back through, and then I can flip it over and pull it this way. Well, it's too tall. I can't do that. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to cut the handle off, and I made a rip fence I used to put on here and give me a solid wall, and then I can run the rubber hammerhead down the fence and hopefully get a nice straight line. Let's see how that works. No going back now. There is and I thought there would be, a metal pin right in there. Well, this isn't going as planned. When does it ever? Not exactly the straight cut I wanted, but maybe we can fix this on the belt sander. We'll give it a shot. Just know that mistakes were made. Not many, but they were made nonetheless. You want to go over them? Let's. First mistake. Should have put on a brand new bandsaw belt, which is, I think, what the problem with cutting straight across was. So that was the first mistake. And then my brain was thinking I was going to use my Dremel to gouge out where the handle is going to go like a router. But what I did not take into consideration was the fact that this was not a flat surface. You know, we've got compound curves all over the place. And so when I was trying to route it out, it's going all over the place, and I'm having to really control it. And I wasn't sure what this stuff was going to do to my lungs, so I decided to put on my respirator, which is never a bad idea. But after all that, we've got something that we can clamshell our, well, we could a minute ago. There. Yeah. Wait a minute, what are you doing? Man, I had a tighter fit than that. Okay. Anyway, so basically I'm going to glue that, clamp it. Actually, I've got a new blade for the bandsaw. I'm going to trim it down to kind of the rough shape I want it. Glue it, clamp it, let it get a good grip on there, and then I can shape it. I can sand it. So this was a struggle, trust me. See if I can't get this a little bit better. FYI, I just added that little piece of technology. It's a vacuum cleaner, but it's a little one. Perfect. Do a little something, clean up. Do a little something, clean up. Saves you time in the long run. So, alright. Glue, clamp. Actually, I decided to help future me out. I needed to eliminate as much of the excess rubber as possible. So I'm taking a wide-tipped Sharpie and drawing a line around my outer edge so I could take it to the bandsaw. Well, I'm already at the bandsaw, but I can eliminate that material so it make it easier to sand in the future. Obviously, with the Sharpie on the frame there itself, you can see how I made my area that I needed to grind out with my Dremel. It took a little while, but it worked out pretty well. The one side is going to be a little bit better. That side's better than the opposite side, right there at the very top. Pretty good there. I've got a little bit of a gap on this side, but we're going to make it work. Well, after a good bit of sanding, and I mean a good bit of sanding, we got the handle in the shape that we wanted. The biggest problem that I was having was I was thinking of this as my reference, and this is the market released prop for sale, not the movie, not the TV prop. That's the TV prop. And as you can see, the handle is a lot thicker. Much thicker handle, which is the shape I ended up with. But that did come at a cost. In the process of, there's also an aluminum plate at the bottom that I was cutting. And in the process, you know, I put a new bandsaw blade on there, and it just went kapwing on me, literally. Broke the bandsaw blade guide. There's an upper and lower, and when I was replacing the bandsaw, there were hairline cracks in it. And I saw them, but I thought I could make it through, and alas, it didn't. They don't make the parts anymore for it. I mean, the motor's still good, all the components are good, it's still good, but without the blade guides, it's useless. So I hate to say it, but sir, we've had a good run. But what's next? Well, what's next is I need to make the rubber that goes on that part. And I don't have enough rubber left from the mallet. So I was going to try and use our flex paste. It's been about 3 weeks and this thing it's pretty solid. Normally I would have used the bandsaw to cut myself a little square out of there. We're just going to have to do this old school. Have to figure out, I'm sure, a good sharp box knife will get us where we need to be. But we'll see.
Well, once again, past me did future me a solid. I'd set a piece of the mallet rubber aside specifically for this reason. Sorry, Lola, didn't get to use the flex paste this time.
Okay, didn't use the flex paste, and I did want to talk about that for a second. So let's do a switch real quick. So here's the flex paste, and it's flexible. it as advertised. It's easy to cut. Look at that. Like butter. But easy to cut, not easy to sand. And I felt like what I probably would end up doing with this is making a mess, for one, and for two, I would have to come up with some other way to mold it, heat or something. But I did get it. I got it shaped. It was gonna be fine, you know. But I had the other piece, and the reason I like this piece here is, it looks like it was handmade. The rubber's a little bit hard. And here's the thing, I need to go double check some of my photos. I can't tell if this looks right or not. It looks a little bit big and chunky to me, and I still need some forming. I need to round that edge and round these edges here to make it look a little bit better. But that's going to take a little bit of time. And I still can't find any really good pictures of the Tesla gun online to compare it to. And so I'm kind of at the point where I'm just going to have to not worry about it. I'm just going to do my own thing. But that coat of Plasti Dip, I think, gave me the right color that I have, the right shading that I wanted from the raw black. And I cut my aluminum bottom plate, and that's going to go on here. I considered drilling a hole and threading it and running that on there. but I might just glue it. I think that looks good. I think that looks really good like that. I do believe some lines that run along here, and there's black paint inside them. I'm gonna forego that for now, unless, I don't know, it's just. And then there's this piece, and that goes on there like that. But in those pictures I was looking at, this looked kind of small. So I still had some more of this brass, and you can see the difference in diameter there. And I think I can make a new one fairly quickly. I think I got all the skills down that I needed in making the first one, that I think I can kind of whip through getting this into shape fairly easily. I also still need to make the cut the brass tubes that go around the vacuum tube. So as badly as I wanted to be done, there's still a fair bit of work to be done on this. But we are going to make the next video, the last assembly video for the Tesla gun, because we need to put it to bed. It's con season, you know, the cons are coming around. Not that I do a whole lot of cons, but Louisville is right around the corner, and I've got a couple of things that I want to have done by Louisville. That's the first week of June, and here we are in the second week of April. We're running out of time. So, but that's always the way. I still also want to make I think it's called a comma for my Mandalorian. Maybe some gauntlets. I was thinking some van braces with with this. Just think of this on a van brace. Cool, right? Cool, right? Alright, anywho. It's time for you to go build something, my friends. And maybe you can actually complete something. Because I obviously can't. But go brush off the cobwebs in your brain and figure out something to go do, get done. Start a new project. My buddy Eric over there at Random Chatter he got his first brand new resin printer, and we've been chatting back and forth, and he's working on stuff there. Be like Eric. But until we meet again, have fun, be safe, and go build something. And we'll see you next time. Pew 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 pew.